without further ado, the one, the only, Mr. Bruce Marvel, everybody.
All right, all right.
You can use that one too.
Go ahead, sir. Yeah, let me grab mine. I'll grab mine.
It should work.
All right. Check, check, check. Midnight Oil, how we doing tonight? Oh, man, come on. The Eagles won today. You figure we'd be a little louder, right? We doing all right? All right, all right. So, my name is Bruce Marvel. I am the host, hopefully your friend by the end of the night, and a horror enthusiast. I am hosting the Marvel of Horror, where we talk all things past, present, and future as they pertain to the horror genre. Now, real quick about the podcast, we're just here to have a good time. We're not here to be IMDb. We're not here to prove we know the be-all, end-all stuff. This is just ordinary folks, talk about what we love about horror, what connects us, and we're going to have a good show for you tonight. Hopefully, like you said, meet us after the show, talk to us, get engaged with us, tell us some of your horror movies that you like, tell us your first experience with the horror genre, what got you into it. These are all things we want to know. You can stop us after the show, during the breaks. So you've met Jason, right? Jason, Captain Blue Hen, we want to thank for putting on this Hallowreads event for us to come and do our thing. And right now, I'd like to bring up the co-founder of Delaware Research of the Paranormal. We're going to get into a little bit of an investigation she did with Jason from Captain Blue Hen and Matt over here. She is the one, the only, she is the beautiful, my wife Leela Marvel. If she wants to come up, please. All right, hey-o.
Oh boy. It's PG, bro.
All right, yeah, we'll keep it PG. I see a lot of kids here. All right, so come on, Jason, grab a seat. Let's get comfy. Let's do this thing. Yeah. Man, I felt I was short already. This chair only makes me.
I'm gonna give Bruce this other one. I'm gonna give.
Yeah,
Matt this
so
other one.
why don't you kind of just put that between you?
Okay, I'll hold it here.
Yeah, because I only have
Sweet. And you might have to turn that mic on.
what?
You might have to turn it on right there.
So again, the Marvel of Horror, we talk all things that pertain to the horror genre. It might be movies, it might be shows, it might be paranormal events maybe you experience. We're not skeptics here. We believe in that sort of thing. So, getting our mics figured out here.
The longest part of this podcast is going to be us sitting up here on the chairs, just getting comfortable.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna turn my phone off so halfway during like a riveting story about your investigation, Danzig doesn't start playing by accident.
I welcome that.
You would welcome that? So would I, sir. Huge Danzig fan, but you already knew that. So, so before we get into it, like I said, Leela, I'm gonna start with you.
Okay.
What got you into paranormal research?
Well, when I was a young adolescent, I guess, had at my dad's house, grew up in West Grove, Pennsylvania. So we would have kind of paranormal stuff happening there that kind of got me inspired by wanting to learn more about investigating. And I didn't realize at the time, you could do that. I mean, I know there was like spiritualism back in the day and stuff like that. But then Ghost Hunters came along and all those shows.
I remember Ghost Hunters really seemed to be the guys who kicked off the whole paranormal investigative just wave of shows that came out after that. I remember we used to watch
Shout
it.
out, Roto-Rooter.
Yeah. Taps. Hunters by night, Roto-Rooter by day. So the event at your dad's, and I've been to her dad's house. It is haunted. There is some scary stuff there. We'll get into that later. But tell us about the event that happened at your dad's when you were young.
Okay, so this was my first paranormal experience. I was probably 10 or 11, and this was in the summer during the day, so it doesn't have to be 3 a.m., right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the witching hour.
Yeah, so at the time I was helping take care of my grandmother. During the day, it was the summer, and the house was built by my great-grandparents, so in the 40s, so it's not super old, but farmland up in West Grove. And she had me to go up to the second floor and to get clothes from the bathroom up there. Since she, at the time couldn't go up all the way upstairs. So I went up there and, long stairs, weird kind of corners, kind of some of a lot of the old furniture was still there too, like even some of like her old clothes, antique furniture. And I went up into the bathroom, got the stuff off the clothes hanger, kind of turned around, and they used to have this like electric heater with like coils, like diamond kind of shapes. Anyways, I got the clothes, I turned around, the heater turned on by itself, and I looked, like it literally like glowed red. And I like looked, followed the cord, wasn't plugged in. And that was kind of like my first ever, I didn't tell anybody for a really long time, because I was like, oh, that couldn't have happened. Like, I'm imagining things. I'm like an adolescent girl.
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna believe me.
You're like, sure, Jan, that happened.
Sure, Jan. But other things over the years, like my mom, was there and experienced stuff, and I think I even told her about that heater like many years ago. It actually happened to either my grandmother or my great-grandmother. But I feel like the thing's still in the house. I have to find it.
Oh, what, the heater's
I have
there?
to find this haunted heater.
Yeah, I think that's a must. I think
I
it's
don't
a
know,
must.
but
yeah.
but they say like, did I do that? I don't know, like from spooky.
The dead bell's going off. We'll get into that. We'll get into the
But
dead bell, everybody.
yeah, that was my first experience, and we've investigated there and hear stuff happening. You hear your name being called and stuff like that.
Yeah, so like I said, me and my wife, we've been together for almost 20 years. We've been married since 2007, and when I was coming up there, it was always very strange. You always just felt something watching you. You always just kind of felt uptight. But the one time we actually did an investigation with our friend Gene, who now lives in Houston.
He's our traveling team member.
Traveling sub-in team member.
Yeah.
The one night we were up there, this was like 2 o'clock in the morning. We're up there, we're asking questions with our equipment. We're not really getting much. We come down, and we're all tired. Like I said, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. We're all sitting there. Then you just start hearing like footsteps walking around. And the cat started acting very strange. Like remember the cat ran to the base of the stairs and was like watching, like you could hear her ears, like she's hearing it too. And we're like, man, that is definitely not a squirrel or a mouse.
And it kind of sounded like footsteps or like something pushing like a box against the floor.
Yeah. And I very rarely go up there, even though that's my father-in-law. It's nothing against him. It's just a creepy place. But Jason, you've been on the show before, and that was a great episode you've been on. You have a really cool ghost story too, if you feel like telling it.
I think my friend Martin out there knows the story. I grew up in a house in Newcastle, Delaware, right off of Route 13 over near Our Lady of Fatima Church. And the house that we moved into was the house next door to the one that my dad grew up in. The reason why they knew about that house being for sale is that my grandmother and grandmother lived grandfather lived right next door. And the lady who lived in the house passed away. Her name was Mrs. Taylor. So we moved in 9 months after she passed away, and I was a baby in my crib in her son's room. So the first thing that I remember about all this is when I was a lot of S's. Sorry about that. A lot of hot S's, guys. First thing I remember about all that is I have 2 older sisters. One of them had a sleepover, and they wanted to do a seance.
Always a good idea, right?
Yeah. Thanks. The seance was 4 girls who were doing a sleepover sitting in a circle, and I was allowed to join them because I was the younger brother. And essentially what happened is they called out every famous dead person you could think of. Elvis, George Washington, I don't know.
He's here.
He's here.
He's ringing the bell.
Ask Patrick Swayze if he's here.
Yeah, ask Patrick Swayze. That's a great idea.
Patrick Swayze wasn't dead yet at that time. Spoilers if you don't know that Patrick Swayze passed away a while ago. What? Sorry, Joe.
We're sorry.
So we're doing this thing, and it's in my old house, and I had a brother that passed away when he was 3. So my sister said his name as well, and the wind, kicked up, and we were freaked out. And then she remembered that the lady that lived in the house before us, her name was Mrs. Taylor. So she said, "Mrs. Taylor, if you're here, do something." And from behind these 2 what are they called? Like shutter doors. They were in between the room we were in and the dining room. We heard a woman's voice say, "Shh, be quiet." Right. So I thought it was immediately my mom. So I jumped up. I was like 6 or 7 at the time. I jumped up and pulled the doors open, which were locked from the other side before we had the evening, because my mom didn't want people to walk through the dining. This whole thing. I'm sure it had something to do with the room being clean or something, but we opened the doors, there was nobody there, and then my sister and I ran up to my mom's room because we thought that it was her, and it wasn't. So that sparked a lot of events in that old house on 110 East Roosevelt Avenue. You can go on Zillow, look it up. I saw her twice. Electronics would go off at weird times, like while I was talking about her. So I only ever saw her in the house, and when I moved, nothing else happened. So I've been intrigued by this kind of stuff since then, and I never got into Ghost Hunters. I thought it was dumb. But Ghost Adventures is a completely different monster.
Oh, see,
with Zach Baggins.
I can't stand that guy. Are you kidding?
Look,
He started out really good.
Yeah.
They were iconic, and they still are. Now it's just a bit dramatic.
It's been, and I noticed Zach Baggins, his T-shirts got tighter
No.
with every season.
Hold on.
Not, you know what I mean? And it's just
Hold on. I feel like you're saying things you might not mean. Zach Baggins.
Oh, I mean them.
Zach Baggins.
Bagans.
Zach Baggins. Total bro. He had the haircut with the spike right here, but down, yeah, dude, he zhuzhed it. Yeah, Buzz is doing right now. That's not on camera, but we'll demonstrate later. So he zhuzhed his hair club style, and his shirts were tight. But now he used to be the guy that I didn't want my daughter to date if I had a daughter. Now he's the guy that I don't want watching my kids as a recess duty person.
Yeah,
he's got a weird mustache, and he's always wearing black on black everything.
Yeah, he was he reminded me of the guitar player from Papa Roach. and then he and now he's he's kind of cleaned up. Now he wears the hat, he's got the glasses and stuff, but I don't know, I just never could.
He looks like he needs to let people know when he moves into a neighborhood.
On tonight's show. Every episode is this. Look, every episode is like this. And it was at that moment I found a cold spot, and I knew I was at the nexus of hell.
Yeah.
There's always some cold spot with the nexus of hell with that guy. Some portal.
Listen, my wife hates those, and she allows me to watch them because that's the time she can fall asleep on Friday nights. But the best part about those is I try and pick what's going to happen in this episode, and Possessed Zach is the best.
Possessed Zach is
the best.
Don't talk to me, bro.
Yeah, dude, they go they go oh, look at his eyes, that's not him. And I'm like, yes, Possessed Zach. But it's the best when I call that it's Possessed Zach before the episode happens.
Well, I guess if it's entertainment, it's entertainment.
I love it.
Yeah, we actually went to Zach Baggins' museum out in Las Vegas. That was a couple years ago, and that was actually pretty cool. There were a couple of spots in the exhibit that were really made you feel uneasy. I guess they had this whole room that was really dedicated to Satan worshipers.
Yeah.
And I think they had Ed Gein's cauldron. You had to pay extra for the satanic activity to experience. But he had all kinds of stuff. I think they had Ed Gein's cauldron. How's the cheesesteak?
It's good, I think.
It's good, right?
Yes.
Anyway.
All right, so and now, the final member of our team that
Yes.
investigated Klondike case, I swear we're getting to what happened at Klondike case.
We will, yeah. Come on, we gotta meet everybody.
Gotta meet everybody.
We're getting there. We're gonna get to the meat and potatoes, folks.
I'm going to hand this over to the third member, which is Matthew Martinez.
Hand it over.
Hello.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
Oh, good. Thank you. How are you?
So, what piqued your interest into paranormal research? Did you have a moment in time, something happened, a show, anything?
So when I was, since I was really young, I've been into, the moment I saw Ghostbusters, it was over. Hey guys, how you doing?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ecto 1, everybody. Thank you guys for coming so much.
But I'm a sucker for any, when the Paranormal Activity movies came out, I was like, this is not, you know, any type of caliber filmmaking, but damn, is it not engrossing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To think, and so I'm always like, I've only been on 2 actual hunts in my entire life, but anytime I take video of anything, I'm like, what's that light there? There was no light there. But first time I was ever a part of an actual hunt was in college, in film school actually, it was my documentary class.
Oh, nice.
And my group decided to do a ghost hunting documentary. And for the life of me, I can't remember it, but I can't remember the name of it, but there was this like abandoned hotel in Delaware City that was all shuttered down. We didn't get permits or nothing. We just broke in.
Yeah, like I said, man, true like guerrilla rebel style. Yeah, don't do that though.
We
but
didn't.
still.
We were using school's equipment, so if we got in trouble, like it would have been a lot. But
Nice.
So we go in, and I'm not on camera. I'm on comms. So I don't see it till later. But like we thought we got nothing. Like we nobody in there like saw anything. It was so dark. We had the night vision on. And we're keeping lookout. We got the guy in there with the camera. We go back, we start editing it, and something shifts in the corner of the screen. And so we get another set of eyes on it, and lo and behold, it's the shape of a human body.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's pitch black until the thing moves. And you can clearly see a head, arms, and legs get pulled, like Sam Raimi style, off camera.
Wow.
Off in the corner, and yeah, it was. I wish I had been like next to the cameraman for that, because I would have been like, oh god.
I probably
Maybe it's that one.
I probably would have been like, okay, I don't want to hunt ghosts anymore. I'm out of here. It'd be like Looney Tunes. You would have seen like the smoke outline of. I've never seen a full body apparition. I'm almost kind of hoping I never do.
It's like you couldn't make out like we couldn't make out the facial features or anything, or you know, but it's like, and we still like we were racking our brains because there was no source of light. It was night vision. But I don't know any, like, even if it was like a bunch of rats at once deciding to move, you know what I mean? There was there was no wind or draft we could feel coming from anywhere that could have shifted, like maybe there could have been like old wood or paper being blown by, we don't know. But like that specific shape, that specific time, there's no breeze, there's no other noise that we can see that we can think animal activity or anything. So it's like, it was crazy.
That's super creepy. That's super awesome too. So, has anyone here ever been to Klondike Kate's on Main Street, Newark, or know of it? Anybody?
Show of hands.
Anybody? Show of hands?
Klondike
Show of
Kate's?
hands?
All right.
Okay. So Klondike Kate's is a establishment on Main Street, Newark. I believe you can eat there for brunch and have lunch and such things, but they usually entertain the college crowd at night. This was the place you all investigated.
Yeah, so the reason why we chose Klondike Kate's is because it was available and it had history. Initially, when this event came up, I thought it'd be kind of cool knowing that Leela is a paranormal investigator on the side. On the side, right? It's not like a full-time gig. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm partial, but she's like the best paranormal researcher.
So Leela helped us out a few years back at the store with what we thought was the ghost of Captain Blue Hen. Hit up our social media page to find out about that. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to do something in and around Newark. I know a guy that has a house that was built in the 1850s, and I asked him, and he said he didn't want it because if it was haunted, he didn't want to know. My house was also built in the 1850s, and he said, "How about your house?" And I was like, "Again, if it's haunted, I don't want to know." So he was meeting with Jamie from Klondike Kate's. Thank you, Klondike Kate's. Thank you, Jamie, for letting us do this.
Yeah, it was totally awesome.
And they were totally cool with it. We walked in, told them what we wanted to do. They were cool. There's a lot of history in that building, so it kind of really worked out for us.
So kind of walk us through that history, because Klondike Kate's, now it's a bar, but at one time it was a jail, right?
Well, I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, take us through it.
Well, 240 years in business, several different businesses. Starting out with 1757, the Three Hearts Tavern. So really old there.
Yeah.
There's not like kind of in between dates. I'm not particularly sure how long these were open. 1860, there was the Newark Hotel. And then fast forward to 1905 to 1915, it was the Squire Lovett's Courthouse and Jail.
This is the best transition between what you just said and what it's about to become. So go ahead. Like.
Okay. Oh yes, right. The next one. Well, you know, there's lots of stores and exchange stores, Texacos and stuff, different time frames. But also in 1920, on the second floor, it was a roller rink.
It was a roller rink?
So
Roller rink.
roller rink on the second floor.
I can see that too. Like from what I remember of being in Klondike, it's been many years.
Yeah.
I'm old now. I don't really go out to. I don't really nightlife at Newark bars anymore. But from what I remember of that place, I can totally see that.
Yeah. And then, you know, fast forward, there were lots of other like Texaco, coffee shops and stuff. And then 1979, Klondike Kate's actually opened. And there was also a fire in 1993. I believe on the second floor. No deaths or anything. Yeah.
We're down. Yeah, no deaths in that fire, but still a traumatic event that happened there.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, it's so crazy at one time. It's been so many things, and like you said, it's so old. It's got to. I mean, Newark in general, just like Newcastle, has a lot of like history, a lot of haunted places and stuff. But that's so crazy. Like, there used to be a jail. Like, obviously, there's got to be some negative energy there.
Well, when we did when you want to do an investigation, you obviously I come from more of like a private residence investigations more so than like historic places, and you know you always want to talk to the owners or the business owners or residents, do your interviews, and then you want to go scout it too. But that's one of the things that we kind of heard about the jail cell, but we actually we want to do an investigation here because the jail cells were really intriguing.
Yeah, so we were there at the end of August to go check it out, something like that.
Yeah.
And the manager of Klondike Kate's took us down there, and they're tiny. I mean, they're small. The doorways are small. I had to duck to get into it, and the original framework and everything is all still there. They use it as storage now, for overflow stuff.
Yeah.
Probably stuff that they don't use too much, but they've talked about trying to kind of clean it up and use it somehow. I don't see how.
When people get drunk and rowdy, they put them in the jail.
Yeah.
So they don't have to drive.
Hey, it works. It works at the Philadelphia Stadium, right? Do they still? Does the lake have the drunk tank, or they got rid of that?
That was the vet.
That was
The vet. The drunk tank is over.
They're probably wishing they kept it.
Yeah. Probably.
So walk us through the investigation, and also I want to get to. So if you can see kind of up front and in the back here, this is some of the equipment they used on this investigation. We're going to kind of go through that, but walk us through some of the things the three of you experienced, and by the end, do you? I already kind of know the answer, but they might not. Do you think the place is haunted?
Okay. Yeah. Well, we kind of had our headquarters base camp. We met at Captain Blue Hen. We kind of did our intros, met everybody, and then it was just the three of us. But we did an experiment where we made a password. You want to talk about that?
I came at this very scientifically. This stuff is. I want to believe, but if it's not real, I also want to know. So we came up with a password beforehand, and thanks to a Saturday Night Live sketch, the password was popcorn. Thus, if at all we heard the word popcorn on a recording later, then we knew that something was around us and listened to us, and they knew what it was in some otherworldly way.
Yeah.
And then also I also brought
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
So I have a very old home, and we have old square nails that we find, square head nails all the time that we find around the house. So I brought a square head nail to see if any of that ever popped up on any of the recordings or anything like that. So that's kind of what we did before going in, and we kind of set up a timeline of what we wanted to do when we got in there. That way we weren't just kind of running amok in the restaurant.
Well, first off, too, I also want to say, I love the way you in particular, but I love the way you approach these investigations. You're not approaching these investigations it's very scientific and it's very smart and it's very okay, you go in with the mind okay, we're not skeptics, but we're not here to just automatically prove the first thing we see or hear.
Yeah.
I really love that take, and I love your approach to investigations in that regard.
Yeah, so we got there at 1 a.m. And luckily the evening was like a slow night, so all the customers were gone and the employees were wrapping up. The cleaning people did come, but they were there maybe about a half hour, and we started we're upstairs, we were kind of working our way up. We started down in the jail cell. And we did, so just to talk about some of the equipment, we kind of did our initial ratings of electrical things, just for high electrical field. We want to just kind of squash that in the beginning. So we got our EMF meter, we have a millimeter, which is temperature and electromagnetic field. So we had this kind of going at all times, and you can use these to kind of regulate spikes. You have to put on the Rencon. So we just had those going. There was some areas it was higher, but nothing that was alarming.
Oh, there we go.
And another thing we had, so that was kind of our initial sweeping, and we started out in the jail cell asking, we did a straight EVP session, which is, if you're not familiar, electronic voice phenomena. And that's that would be my kind of go-to. A lot of times people like to use speaker boxes and stuff, which we did that too, but we started out with that, just to kind of capture audio on a digital recorder. Yes, we started out in the jail cell. We moved to jail cell 2. We did at one point hear, hello? And we were so freaked out.
So Matt and Leela heard hello in a woman's voice while they were almost directly below the main eating area. You guys were in the storage area, not quite back all the way to where the jail cells were. And I think I had just come from upstairs. And the look on your faces was amazing. You guys had heard a ghost. What they didn't know was that there was a woman getting ready to go in and clean the first floor bathroom. And I believe that she opened the door and said hello. So we debunked that immediately. And I was like, yeah, that's amazing. But I think it's the woman upstairs cleaning the bathroom. So.
Debunked.
Hello?
The spirits are active tonight. No, it's just a cleaning lady.
And they want to clean.
They want to clean, yeah. But it's like a mason. It's all the original foundation and brick walls. And it was a little noisy with the electronics, a lot of buzzing. But yeah, we did some general questions down in the basement. And then we went to jail cell 2. And Jason was like, should we do a little thing? They'll never do it.
Yeah, so Jason over here bringing out his Zach Baggins. He decided he's going to provoke the ghosts. Walk us through this, man. Tell us.
So for the better part of the night, we had, ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Evans just walked in. So the entire night, jail cell 1 is the one that we spent most time in, and all the questions were very, very nice, very well mannered. If you're here, can you make the bell go off? And sometimes the bell will go off, sometimes it wouldn't. And all the questions that we had were very thoughtful and with manners.
So hold on real quick.
Yeah.
Go into the dead bell.
Okay, the dead bell. It looks like an old school bell you'd have on your desk. Ding, ding, And it's basically EMF as well, same as the REM pod is EMF, but also has a proximity meter antenna, kind of like a theremin. But the dead bell, if there's higher EMF, but it's weird because it's not all the time. So you put your phone up to it, it's not going to go off. Sometimes it does. Oh wow. There.
Somebody,
so that's the REM pod.
Somebody likes our show.
That's the
somebody
REM
we
pod.
can't see. Yeah, somebody we can't see.
So that could be. I wouldn't say. That's probably some sort of electronic in here.
Yes, it is very close to a lot of electronic equipment right now.
Yeah.
So.
And also, a lot of times they use this on the show, on shows, and you can easily fake these. Little pro tip: you get walkie-talkies. I'm just gonna set them off. So I wouldn't necessarily say if this was to go off and nothing else, you would have to have 1 or 2 more pieces of equipment to go off. I like to have that happen.
Yeah, that would be
But
pretty
that
awesome.
didn't go off at all during the night.
So
the dead bell went off.
Yeah. So the dead bell.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always creepy when the dead bell goes off.
Especially when Leela. So there was a moment in time where Leela went to go check EMF lights. Am I right? Like the string lights.
Yeah, they were like a pair of rope, kind of looked like bigger Christmas lights down the hall. One was the motion, one was like EMF that just lit up if like something walked past it. So I had left the jail at one point.
And it's at that point that the dead bell went off, like I think 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And
That's never happened to me actually.
Yeah.
I've only ever had it go off like once, like every 5 minutes or something. So
And
that was unusual to me.
and this was in quick succession too. Like it was not even a minute.
Yeah, and like I said, we did Pennhurst because sometimes I go on these investigations. I'm also like a sub-in member. I'd like to think.
Yeah.
But we weren't even having that kind of activity with the dead bell when we went to Pennhurst Asylum, which was it's definitely haunted. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, so when the dead bell goes off now, I feel like I need to say thank you every time.
Or you'll be cursed.
I've been conditioned to do this.
Like, thank you, write down the time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right down
Time 10:08. Thank you.
Yeah. The REM pod, I don't think the REM pod went off almost at all.
No.
But that's always creepy to see those lights go off.
But talk about your provoking.
So that was jail cell 1. We went to jail cell 2 later on in the night. And I decided to stop being nice to the ghosts. And since we were in a jail cell.
And start getting real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We started, stopped being nice and started getting real.
Which is crazy because you're like the oh wow.
Oh, hey there.
You're like I think you're like the nicest guy I've ever met. Like I can't really see like.
You've never seen me at a jail cell at 3 in the morning.
Yeah. You don't want to see
Most
me.
people haven't. So we went in there and I was like, let's provoke. Let's tell them that they deserve to be here. That they deserve no sunlight, no fresh air. That they were acting like a fool upstairs. I got drunk or something, and that was it. We got nothing. To my knowledge, we got nothing then, and we moved on to the next thing. Weirdly enough, if you see which one is it? There is a QR code around the room that says, "What did we catch at Klondike Kate's?" And that has an EVP of what we found there that night. Oh, the REM pods are going off again.
That's gonna freak me out this entire time.
Yeah, no, you're closest to it.
But yeah, we went back later, and in the jail. Oh my gosh, calm down.
They want to speak.
Yeah, they want to speak. Yeah, when Jason's like, "Oh, you deserve no sunlight," and we got an EVP from that room, and we think it says behind you.
Yeah, that's unsettling after the fact.
Yeah. Should have talked that smack, man.
It was late and I was tired.
So can they actually? So is that one of the things they can hear if they scan the QR code?
Not right now.
Not right now. Okay.
There's another one that's on there that's from. We're gonna kind of upload them over time.
Okay.
But if anybody wants to hear them later, I did bring the headphones.
Yeah.
We're planning on sharing with the Klondike Kates and like a reveal with them, and then we're probably gonna release them in bigger chunks. But you can. We've kind of been releasing a little bit here and there on our Facebook and like Instagram. And the one that's on the QR code now is from the upstairs.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a rat or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So walk us through what they can hear if they scan the QR
Yeah,
code.
that's another EVP from the second floor when we moved up there. So after we did jail cell 1 and 2, we went up to the second floor to like the open bar area, and like it was dark. Like the only person that was left there was like the manager for the night, and he was in like another room.
He was getting ready to leave too.
Yeah, he was getting ready to leave.
He left. Sorry. The manager's name is Tim. So thank you to Tim for putting out with us that night. But Tim actually left before we started our investigation there because I had to use the bathroom very quickly, and as I was leaving the bathroom, he was walking out. Like I saw him out the second story window, get in his car and leave. So at that point, we were completely alone in the building, like nobody else.
So up there, Jason really wanted to do, there's a method called the Estes method, which has become very popular. It was co-founded by Colin from Hellier. It's one of the documentaries. But he used to work at the Stanley Hotel. And it's a method where you use the spirit box, or you can use like, sometimes you can use like static noise machines too. But you basically have the spirit box. You have headphones hooked up to the spirit box. Headphones, you put on a blindfold. So Jason wanted to do this, and he was listening, and it really is like a deprivation of like all like senses, and you're kind of just into the cycle of listening to like the radio frequencies. And we put it on AM, and you can actually do like a reverse sweep versus like going forward. And what the theory is like you're just supposed to like ask questions, or I would ask questions, or Maui ask questions, and then you kind of just, Jason would say anything that he came through, like his voices.
Can I just say the image of you doing it, like the pictures we took of you, are creepier than anything that actually happened to us, because it looks like you're being tortured. It's like that. It's like that scene in the Star Trek episode where they're trying to convince Picard there are only 4 lights.
Yeah.
Jason, 3 lights.
When I first saw it, so Jason looks like he's in like a Saw movie.
They want to talk again. I want to play a game.
So it partially looks that way too. There's a lot of factors here. Number one, I was wearing like salmon-colored shorts.
I wouldn't even bring that up.
Salmon-colored?
Yeah, they were like pale salmon or cantaloupe.
Pale salmon.
And then I watch a lot of fashion shows, so I know this. Matt also had a yellow like headlamp on, so when he's filming me, it looks like I'm pantsless sitting there, and it looks like I am Ken doll smooth. You know what I mean?
As Matt said, it's very unfortunate.
We told you he was trying to provoke the ghosts.
So yeah, not the prettiest image of me, but and then imagine that I have headphones on and a knit cap covering my entire face with a yellow light on. So that is sitting in one chair in the middle of the room with nothing else. That's what it was. But the craziest part is, so I've gone back to watch some of the videos.
Ghosts are freaking out over the story.
They love humor. So I went back and watched a lot of the videos that Matt recorded. So during this time, I'm in a chair by myself, all that's on my face and everything. Leela is sitting about like 15 to 20 feet away from me, asking me questions. Initially, I could hear what was being said, and I asked you to like move away. I didn't want to hear anything. Matt had a handheld, his phone, recording on his phone, and then there was also a night vision camera, handheld, on the bar, recording. So the crazy thing is like when stuff does happen, and we get audio recordings, you go back to the other two, like the phone recording and the camera that was on the bar, and there's no sound like at that point. Like it's weird. So while I'm sitting there doing this, I went back and watched the video. I think you said, "Give me the middle finger if you can hear me," which I didn't hear
I
that
heard
night.
that yesterday.
You asked for somebody named Ebenezer. I think if I heard that, that would have freaked me out.
That's when we heard the first loud crash.
Okay, so there is.
Wait, hold on, his name?
What was this guy's name?
Ebenezer Howell.
And
He was the owner of the Three Hearts Tavern.
so Ebenezer Howell, that like Leela asked for Ebenezer Howell, like if he's here, you know, like some question, and it's at that point that I had like one of the largest scares of my entire life. There was a loud bang and crash that came to my left, and like never before faster have I like removed a hat from my head ever. And then it took a second to set in because there was a second sound after it, which was ice. So we just realized at that point it was the ice machine going off, not a ghost. But I did think twice again before I was like, let's do this again. And I put the thing back over and we continued at that point.
But you would say overall, though, you weren't getting any voices.
So if you've never done if you've never watched any of those shows, the S's method, it sounds like this. And it's going like at a quarter of a second through radio frequencies. Mm-hmm. So to hear an actual voice through it is going to be like tough, let alone any words. So I heard nothing while I was upstairs. It was just all radio frequency. And it kind of started going to a beat in my head. So I wanted to stop hearing that beat. It was terrible. We have a fan in front.
Yeah, we do. Routine.
Yep. I believe it's at that time one of the first pieces of audio that you sent to us after it was I think you asked a question while I have the Estes method going, which is do you work here or do you work at the bar?
Yeah, do you work behind the bar?
And originally we thought that it was SHIT.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we got to keep it PG.
Keep it a little PG.
None of the kids here can spell. It's fine.
We'll,
I don't know about all that. But
not taking shots at the kids.
yeah, come on,
Midnight
man.
Oil. We think, Bruce. What do you think it says?
So when I heard the EVP, to me it sounds like it's saying rats.
Rats.
It sounds like it's saying rats,
Yeah.
but it's saying rats. But then again, I'm a huge Dracula fan, and I can hear just Renfield saying that. So
Yeah, it was weird when I first heard it. It sounded like saying SHIT, but like
Yeah.
an annoyed male voice. But when he said that, it kind of starts early, and it sounds like a female voice, which is really odd.
yeah,
It's really weird.
it sounds like a female voice, and like I said, yeah, when you guys initially heard the curse word, when I heard it like different, I was playing it like over and over, like a half a millisecond earlier. You can hear the sound of the consonant, like rats. That's what it sounds like tonight. It's really creepy.
Weird, yeah. But I don't think it was really answering any question or anything in response. So a lot of the things I feel like at least there are mostly residual, which is like when you say
Residual. Oh, you mean like no demon activity? Yeah. Demon activity is like stepping in gum. You can take it with you.
God, I hope not.
See, I didn't hear the H. I thought, because I was the only one standing when you asked that, I thought someone was telling me to sit. Like, because we're in a bar.
You heard it?
You heard it?
Well, because you asked, do you work behind the bar? So, if it's a bartender, they would want me to sit down and have my drink. You know what I mean?
See, that's completely interesting. That's so interesting.
Hold on, did you hear it like when it happened, like the night? Oh,
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it until you sent the file.
I got it.
But then when we pinpointed where it was at, then I was like, I was the only one standing. It makes
See,
perfect
now
sense.
we got to go back and listen to it. 'Cause now I'm like, now I don't, because I was sticking to my guns and I heard rats, but now that's a very interesting
I
concept.
started spelling SIT because you got me. I don't have to spell that.
But yeah, like it's interesting to hear like what people hear, different cadences and things like that.
So I played it for two of my customers at my store, and two people, two different times, and they heard "eat me."
They heard what?
They heard "eat me." Like two separate people at two separate times. They weren't listening to it at the same time. One
Those are
was
really
in this
rude.
room and waving to people. The other one was a completely different person. And for the life of me, I tried to go back and listen to it and hear the same thing, and I couldn't.
Yeah, I never deciphered "eat me" from this from this EVP. That's a new one.
Yeah, that was brand new. But
Like, did they even say that back in like the 1800s?
well, so that's another good question. But like, does a ghost or an apparition or whatever, does that just have to be like ye old colonial times ghost, or do we have like Britney Spears fan ghosts out there like
I don't know.
died in
That's an interesting
like
question.
the mid 2010s, you know?
Yeah, like they're always like, there was a woman in a Victorian dress. Again.
She was wearing Zubas.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I
She
mean,
died
maybe
in
this
the
is like,
80s.
yeah, this could be some college young lady who's like, no, I died, but I love my times at Klondike Kate's. That's where I'm going to haunt.
He was a big MC Hammer fan.
Yeah,
He loved-
I turned 21 there. My best nights were there.
Yeah, maybe she was a roller skater. You never know.
Yeah, maybe.
That's crazy.
I don't know. Is there any? You think there's any chance you may investigate Klondike Kate's at another point in time?
Well, definitely. I'd like to go back.
Yeah.
What we did right after that was I think the three of us are divided on what happened on the next part. But we went out to the stairway. If you've ever been at Kate's, there's double doors to your left when you're in the main dining area that lead up a giant stairwell that leads to the second floor bar, right? So we were on that that landing there, because the downstairs double doors were locked. So we had to go up through the middle of the restaurant and prop the door open so that we could actually function out there without being locked in for the rest of the night. So there we were on this landing, and we were throwing out questions. At some point, I asked if they could tell me what I had with me. I was looking for the square head nail, but I don't think we ever got anything from that. But the thing that we did get is, you said, okay, we're getting ready to wrap up. If there's anything else you want to like say or do, and then there was a very loud bang that came from
I heard that.
the double doors below us. It scared the living heck out of me. I spun around. I was the closest one to it. I think that it came from the doors below. Matt might be a little divided on this. Matt thinks it came from the second floor bar, right?
Well, I'm not, okay, so I'm not denying where it came from, but it sounded, the volume was different than your quote-unquote ice machine, but it had the exact same, I heard it was a crash and 3 knocks each time. Each time. The one when we were on the second floor was quieter. The one when we were in the stairwell was much louder. So I don't deny that it came from where you're saying it came from. I just think that's where it came from both times.
Oh, all right. So I never heard the 3 knocks. But
That's not
three knocks
knocks,
is always a
you
big thing on those shows too.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all.
So it's at this point that I did the thing that like I tell people that they're done for when I watch these shows, which is like, I thought somebody was in the building. So and at this point, we were the only people in the building, and we were responsible for the building because we had to lock up when we left.
Yeah, they trusted us with our life.
Yeah, right? I thought it was crazy. They trusted the 3 of you to lock up Klondike Kate's, which is definitely super cool.
Yeah. So I ran downstairs to the first floor, and Matt and Lila stayed upstairs to wrap up and grab all the equipment and bring it down. I ran downstairs with a digital recorder and was like, I was looking everywhere. I thought it was in the kitchen. I thought it was in the downstairs bathroom. They had a giant cloaked skull head on the bottom of the stairs, and it scared the bejesus out of me.
It's fake for decoration.
It's fake. It was a decoration, but still. Investigating during Halloween season is always fun.
Right?
I went down there. I was trying to check for air current, from a air conditioning or heating unit, and it was on, and there wasn't that strong of a current there. So the best way that I could to recreate the sound is I went up and kicked the door. I gave it a nice, there's probably a footprint on it, and it made an extremely similar sound. So I think that something hit into that door. I don't know what it was. I can't explain what it was, but nothing else happened. I don't think in that room.
I mean, you can hear it. You can hear it so clear on the audio.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it sounds like it's with some force.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, boom. And then that's when we went back downstairs at this point. So, if you want to take over, you can take over. We went back downstairs. Here, I'm going to hand this to you.
Okay, sure. We went to jail cell 1 and we did the assist method again. Jason went under.
Third time.
And,
Professional.
You're asking questions. Yeah, and at one point you're like, I hear a man. I hear a man's voice. I hear a woman.
Yeah.
2 different voices coming through.
So those voices that were it just sounded like, it was just like fragments of a syllable, if that makes any sense. It wasn't any words or anything like that, but I was getting excited because I was finally hearing something on it, where before it was just the static noise going through the radio, that's it.
And so I'm asking questions. I said, because you say woman, I'm like, oh, how you doing, man? How you doing? And I say, so what are you wearing?
Yeah.
What are you wearing? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, that was really rude.
And so what I didn't know is all I heard at that point was a man's voice saying, "We're good." And that's the only thing that I heard come through the spirit box at all that night. That's the only words I heard. It was a male voice saying, "We're good." Right? Kind of matter of factly, and it wasn't until after we got the footage back, and you had told me first that you would ask a question, but when you watch the footage back, you asked, are you a woman, or are you female, or something like that, and there's quiet, and then you said, what are you wearing, and it was quiet, and then you started to say, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable or something.
Did I offend you?
No, I'm sorry if I. Yep, thank you.
Oh man, the dead bell.
Dead bell, man. So like right as you were saying, I'm sorry if I like you made it to that point, and that's when I said I'm like we're good. Like so that was weird hearing like the other side of it, not knowing what was happening on my end. I was just excited to hear like something on there. So.
Yeah, it was quiet with the spirit box. It really depends like where you are. Sometimes it's really noisy. Sometimes it's really quiet.
Yeah.
But that was cool.
That was fun,
And
yeah.
we did go back on the recordings, and we had that pair rope out there in the hall. And we left one of the cameras down there on when we were upstairs. We got that going off. I believe like 2 times. So that lit up the rainbow. So that was cool.
Yeah, the light. So the footage you got of the light rope. That's just what I call it, the light rope. The light rope going off is like really creepy and really cool.
It's like nobody was down there.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's really hard to debunk that piece of like evidence. When you see it.
Well, so with that light rope, as soon as we put it down, Matt and I went up and tried to like stomp around it to see if we can get it to go off. There was a point in the night where I had one of these EMF readers, detectors, the one all the way on the right hand side there. I think that's one I had, and I had it in my hand, and it was like it was spiking. It was going like just regular out in the middle of the room. It was like a 0.5. But like when I had it in my hand at this point, it was like this is when we were in the jail, so it was spiking to like 100. It was going up, and I was like, guys, check this out. And then Leela reminded me that my phone was in my hand, so it was just my phone.
I do want to put your phone on airplane mode anytime you're on an investigation.
That way, there's no interference or anything like that. But
It
yeah, man.
can set off certain equipment.
So yeah, so I think that was pretty much the bulk of the investigation. Matt did a phenomenal job of recording everything. Like that was awesome.
There's questions too about the beer.
Oh yeah.
Like foreign or domestic.
Yeah, that was. Well, I mean, come on, you're at Klondike Case. It's something you should ask. Foreign or domestic?
I had to. I mean, it's like
We had to know. The world wants to know. So yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know why I just handed the mic to Matt, but maybe just do it. Maybe do it. But yeah. So overall, we left. I think that there was a couple other like knocks and that kind of stuff. But in my mind, that's all incredibly hard to prove when we can't go completely like electric off everything. Like there was a fluorescent light in the front window. There was. The air conditioning unit was still going on. We did shut off the humidifier in the basement while we were down there. We did turn it back on, so legally, Kate, you can't do anything if anything happens. But there were certain things that were still like going, so it wasn't a complete lights out situation, but it was as dark and quiet as it could possibly be while we were there.
Well, like I said, I mean, like Klondike Case, the downstairs, like you can totally tell it was like a jail at one point. It looks like super old. It looks super creepy. Like I wouldn't want to be left alone down there during the day. You know what I mean? But I thought, like, listening to the evidence and I think the three of you did a fantastic job. You can really tell, like, the chemistry between the three of you, like, during the investigation was really cool.
Thanks. It was all
awesome time. Next time, though, we have to set up in that stairwell with the creepy painting.
Oh, yeah.
That was giving off Vigo vibes, like no doubt. Like you guys know what I'm talking about.
I await the coming of Vigo.
So real quick, before the night manager left, he kind of gave us a tour of everything, and we asked him if anything creeped him out there, or if he had any experiences. And he walked us through this one stairwell that was only used by the staff and the employees. It wasn't used by anybody else, and it was this giant like. What's the word I'm looking for?
Portrait.
I mean, well, there was tons of space in there, right?
Yeah.
And the staircase spiraled down, right, to your left. There was one portrait, like
the only decoration in the entire thing.
The only decoration in the entire thing, and I believe it was Klondike Kate, maybe, but it was like an old kind of like old timey portrait of her.
She was in like a black dress. She had a wide brim hat, and she had You know those staring eyes? It's like,
And so the night manager cannot for the life of him figure out why they decided to, one, decorate that hallway because nobody uses it other than staff, and then two, why would you just put one in there? It was like the silence was deafening with how like white it was in there, just white walls. So it was weird. And he's like, it's always looking at us, like, wow. No explanation for years.
There's got to be a portal behind there.
We just had more Ghostbusters arrive. Thank you, Ghostbusters.
All right, woohoo!
Thank you. So yeah. Anyway, do you want to like final assessments?
Yes. So all this evidence, and like I said, we're going to have more to that you go to upload for the when you do the QR code and whatnot. But overall assessment, the three of you, Klondike Kate's, haunted, not haunted.
We'll go first.
I think it very well is, but I also think it's a very nice. Like pun intended, I'd have a beer with this ghost. So.
I'm with Matt. I don't think there's anything like nefarious going on. I think that there's definitely something there. Before we went down, we got to talk to one of the bartenders, and he swears that he saw somebody in there one night. Like that wasn't there. So yeah, again, I think it's either like residual energy of something that is like time's not linear and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So thank you.
The dead, yeah.
For agreeing with me again.
The spirit listening to us agrees.
Well, that's what they say though, is that
They
like
figure a lot of what I say.
we're all just bioelectric energy. And that's like proven fact. So I mean, when we pass on, that goes somewhere, and it probably just imprints on wherever you were or spent the most time. I think Rocky Balboa said, when you spend enough time in a place, you become that place.
Absolutely.
So I mean, honestly, if there's
Love that quote, by
Thank
the way.
you, I appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, and that's why this stuff sets it off. That's why you gotta be careful about what's around, you know. So I mean, it makes perfect sense now how strongly, and you know, if it wants you there with it, that's a whole other thing. But
Yeah, definitely haunted, but not like. Don't be afraid to go there.
Right. Oh yeah. Don't just if you go to brunch at Klondike Kate, don't bring a Ouija board.
Yeah, definitely residual, I would say. I would like to go back to confirm things to see if we get similar energy, similar tone, similar answers. It wasn't anything like, wasn't like that friendly or not, some things not even related to questions. So I would like to kind of do similar time frame, and maybe some new stuff too.
I think
Well, that's another. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
I think they knew what we were doing too, because they kept it entertaining for us. Like every time there was any type of lull, like the tension would build, and then all of a sudden, ding, and there was nothing around it. Like we kept stuff away. So it's like,
Yeah.
So given that you now have kind of like an in with someone at Klondike Kate's, is there any kind of talk of possibly doing Deer Park?
Deer Park, yeah.
Deer Park Tavern, because that's the place that's like supposedly really haunted too. Edgar Allan Poe maybe wrote The Raven there.
The Underground Railroad, just haunting in general. I would love to do that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I said on Facebook this again, we're making our way down Beach Street.
Yeah, man, haunted Delaware.
Yeah.
Best, first in the Union, best in the East. Delaware. There you go. See what I'm talking about?
yeah, agree.
Any final thoughts before we wrap it up, my friends?
No, just want to thank Klondike Kate's and for the opportunity. It was really nice of you to let us in and let us with your security.
Yeah.
Very trustworthy, yeah.
So I want to thank Drop Paranormal. This was something that we kind of conceived for this event here. So we did this specifically for this event. Hopefully you guys will go back and check out the podcast. Hopefully you guys are enjoying everything that's going on right now. But go back, check out the podcast, and just find out what you missed. And then check out Drop Paranormal, and maybe join them on one of their escapades. I think you guys just had one the other night, or you're going to have one coming up.
Well, we're
At a
doing
wellness place?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing teaching a paranormal study next Thursday at Prospect Wellness in Trolley Square. But we're going to be planning on doing like a couple of those things, beginner courses. But we previously investigated it, so we're going to be reviewing some of the evidence and showing people the ropes, those who want to learn or curious. And also, I'd like to thank Jason and Captain Blue Hen
Awesome.
well.
That's comic book shop then.
Yes, and also Midnight Oil Brewing as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Matt, you got anything?
Just incredibly grateful. It was an awesome time. Thank you for asking me to come along, Jason.
Yeah, we wanted to keep the bridge. We're
That'd be
gonna do
fun.
that.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Get on a TV show.
Oh, we got a
All right. Well, I want to thank you three for coming up and telling us about your investigation at Klondike Kate's. I want to thank Midnight Brewery for having this. We're going to take a small break. We're going to come back with Buzz. Everybody, grab a drink, grab something to eat from Claymont Steak Shop outside. Get your picture taken with Ecto One. And if you're not here for the second episode of the Marvel of Horror, you can find us on the Marvel of Horror podcast at YouTube. We're on Spotify. Like, subscribe, leave your comments below, and like I said, I'll be around. I'd love to talk to people.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to hear any evidence captured, we have recordings, headphones, curious, if you want to see any video, etc.
Sweet. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We will be back about 6 o'clock to have the second part with Buzz Hassan and talk about scary comics, Hellboy, Crooked Man. And that's me. See you, everybody.